What's going on, family? This is Scrapbook Boxing, Museum of the Forgotten Fisticuffs series. I had a request to show a few more of my cards. These are the boxing exhibit cards. I showed you a couple of days ago, but this will be a part 2 of that particular series. Now, this would be like volume 4 of my collection. Now, here we have Harry Wills, the Black Panther. He stood 6 foot 2 inches, was born May 15th, 1889, and he died December 21st, 1958. He was 69 years of age at the time of his death. He had total bouts of 103, 79 wins, 49 by the knockout route, 10 losses, and 4 draws. Now, he was avoided by Jack Sharkey and among others. He was part of the Awesome Five. It was the Foursome Four. And you had Joe Jeanette and Sam Langford, Sam McVeigh, and Jack Johnson. But I've always added Harry Wills because he was just as avoided as they were. In fact, they fought each other several times. And Harry Wills was colored heavyweight champion 3 times. He defeated Sam Langford, and he would eventually lose that crown, not to George Godfrey. George Godfrey took over the crown, but he would lose the crown because when he fought Jack Sharkey, they called it a foul. And that was a way of him getting out of the fight with Jack Dempsey. And this took place in 1926. So I just wanted to show you these cards here of Harry Wills. Fascinating fighter was Harry Wills. Now this is the Beagles postcard. Came out in the 1920s of Sam Langford. Sam Langford was known as Edgar Langford. That was his actual name. They call him the Boston Tar Baby, the Boston Bone Crusher. He was a lightweight, welterweight, middleweight, light heavyweight, and heavyweight. Now, he was a colored middleweight champion and a colored heavyweight champion. He was also a champion of Mexico, Australia, and Wales. He was born March 4th, 1883, and died January 12th, 1956. He was 72 years of age at the time of his death. Now, he stood 5 foot 7.5 inches and had a 74-inch reach advantage. He had total bouts of 256, 180 wins, 128 KOs, 29 losses, with 39 draws. He was a fascinating fighter. I have him all-time great on my list because he fought fighters such as Sam McVeigh, Joe Jeanette, the Dixie Kid, young Peter Jackson, Jack Johnson, Joe Walcott, that's the Barbados Demon, Jack Blackburn, Joe Gans, Harry Greb, George Godfrey, Tiger Flowers, Kid Norfolk, Harry Wills, Gunboat Smith. Everybody I'm naming was either a colored champion or a champion, except for Gunboat Smith. But he was a fascinating heavyweight himself. So this is Sam Langford. The card is in very good condition. As you can see here, excellent. And it's just part of one of my my exhibit card collections. Moving over to Jack Dempsey. Jack Dempsey was better known as Kid Blackie or the Manasseh Mauler. He was originally called Young Dempsey. His right hand was named Iron Mike. And that's how Iron Mike Tyson became Iron Mike Tyson. Because he admired Jack Dempsey so much. He even had the Jack Dempsey haircut in the 80s. As you can see, Jack Dempsey's cut here. And he also had a dynamite right hand. So he named himself Iron Mike Tyson. But Jack Dempsey's right hand was named Iron Mike. And he was born on June 24th, 1895 in Manassas, Colorado. I'm just scrolling across here. And he died May 31st, 1983 in New York. He died of a heart attack. He stood 6 foot 1 inches and had a 77-inch reach. A fighting record of total bouts of 75, 54 wins, 44 knockouts, 6 losses, and 9 draws. This is a very good card here. and it's in very good condition, as you can see. Now, the thing with Jack Dempsey, he was a hobo. And he would travel on trains, boxcars, searching for his next meal. He was inspired by a former middleweight champion, the non-parallel Jack Dempsey. And Jack Dempsey was known, the original Jack Dempsey was known as the pelvic punch, because that's what happened when he fought a fighter by the name of George LeBlanc. And Dempsey's fights with Brennan in 1923 and Louis Angel Firpo, George Carpentier, 21, Gene Tunney in 1926 and 1927, famous long count. But these are some really good cards that I have here of Jack Dempsey. I have about 40 cards of Jack Dempsey. Very good condition. Just recap on some of these cards here. All right, so let's move down. Primo Carnera. Primo Carnera would win in 1933. He would knock out Jack Sharkey in 6 rounds, but he would be knocked out himself in 11 rounds with Max Baer. They went down several times between the two of them. He would eventually fight Joe Louis, and he'd be knocked out 6 rounds himself. And Joe Louis, about 35. Here you have Mickey Walker, the toy bulldog. He would defeat Pete Latzo for the welterweight championship strap. And he would also defeat Tiger Flowers for the middleweight championship strap. Fascinating fighter. He went up as high as heavyweight. And he would have a 12-round draw. Jack Sharkey. And he would lose to Max Schmeling. And then 2 weeks later, Max Schmeling would become heavyweight champion of the world. Here you have Samuel Mendel, outstanding fighter. Very good fighter with Samuel Mendel. Philadelphia, Benny Bass. I think I showed you a different version of this fighter, Benny Bass. He was a junior welterweight champion. I have this man ranked number 9 as the all-time greatest fighter on my list, Tony Canzoneri. Johnny Risco, the Cleveland Baker boy. Fascinating fighter he was. Fought in the 1920s. And I'm just going through this with some of these Jackie Field. Jackie Fields would eventually lose his title to Young Corbett III. But he was an outstanding fighter himself. He would face Gorilla Jones and some of the other great fighters at that time. Bobby Garcia, another great fighter. Now here you have, I showed you him before, Jimmy Slattery. He was from Buffalo. Very good light heavyweight. Here you have 2 different versions of Mushy Callahan, another dynamite fighter, world champion himself. Mickey Walker, toy bulldog. Pete Latzo, he was a welterweight champion of the world. Tommy Loughran, one of my best light heavyweight champions to choose from. Fascinating fighter was Tommy Loughran. He was a stand-up fighter, had over 200 fights. And I just wanted to show you a few more exhibit cards. But thanks for hanging in there with me. Scrapbook Boxing, Museum of the Forgotten Fisticuffs series. Until next time, salute to my subscribers. Salute to these great fighters. Peace.